Hello, everybody, and happy Wednesday.
Yeah, that makes me happy to say.
I'm losing track of days because, Memorial was Monday, so some of us had on, some of us had off. But yeah, so we're getting to it now. But welcome into News 10 Plus. I am Taylor Gattoni alongside Claudia Sella. Where's your name? There it is. Push the button.
There it is.
There we go.
That's my name.
There it is. All right. So how are you doing today with all the heat?
Good. I've been in a very cold room over there. It's very cold back there, so that's been helping. But man, I feel like it's just like you're exhausted because of the heat. So I don't know how everyone else is doing out there, but it's definitely getting to me. I don't handle heat very well.
I can handle heat well, but I think getting older, and I've noticed other people, it is one of those things where you're just so like, you are so drained. Yeah. So people get a little bit more irritated, and yeah, gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think this isn't my, Colton, this isn't my, favorite weather, so if you could do something about that, that'd be really great.
It's not my favorite either, so.
I think I'm one of the few who enjoys it, but this is too hot.
This is way too hot.
It is way too hot. And you got that on, and we've got this. I just want to take this off. Anyway, what is coming up today on Studio 10?
Yeah, so we have a really, I'd say, heartfelt show, community-focused show today. First, we're going to talk about the Lake Lansing Band Shell. We're going to talk about the history of the band shell, and also not just the history, but the lineup this summer, because they've got a really fun summer concert series. And so we're going to have them on today to talk about what that is and, kind of how you can enjoy it this summer.
That's always a fun thing to do, is like get outside. Lake Lansing obviously has a lot of green that you can just sit around, bring a picnic blanket or a regular blanket, just hang out and enjoy.
Totally. Yeah, I actually really like it. I actually like how it's grass, too. I'm not a sand person, so I like that it's grass.
Sand gets everywhere.
Yeah, no, I prefer grass, actually. I think it's great. And then, so we have that, which is always fun to talk about summer. And then we also have the Consumers Watch, so that's always really great information, that you can take financially into your life. And then we have the Wacusta Party Festival preview, and it's a really great community event that they're fundraising for a preschool in the area. So lots of really fun stuff. Cool. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff that's actually been happening in the newsroom, like the dog reuniting story that was just so cute. So we're going to kind of, if you haven't seen it, we're going to kind of recap that a little bit. So we just have a really fun show planned, very summer focused, and we can't wait to join you guys at 3 p.m.
I was going to say, it is feeling like summer out there. So talking about Lake Lansing, and all of the other stories.
Yep, so you don't want to miss it, because we definitely have a lot of fun stuff for you to look forward to.
All right, anything else?
So, but we will see you. Oh, we of course have really fun talkers, so I don't want to say that because they're really fun today. But of course, you can always find us on social media. We're asking really fun questions every day, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. So,
all right, thank you, Claudia. And as she was just mentioning, here's some of the ways that you can stay connected with Studio 10. You have your websites, the Instagram, the email. That is all right up there. So at WILX Studio 10 is their Instagram, Studio10 at WILX.com is their Gmail, WILX.com/Studio10 is their website. And if we turn it over here is their YouTube page. So you can hit that subscribe button, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Hit that subscribe button. You can stay up to date with all the latest news with Studio 10.
I subscribed, and they put all of their videos all their interviews and segments that they have on Studio 10, they put it right there on your YouTube page. So if you ever miss anything, you can find it there.
I know. I feel like we have a lot of newscasts, a lot of ways you can tune in and learn about all the exciting things in our community. There we go. And I'm always like, we're getting ready for our shows, our first at 4 and our later shows. So being able to tune into Studio 10 for us is difficult, even though we're right in the building. So I like going back and the Consumer Watch Claudia was talking about, get that financial literacy. That's always good to know.
Always great stuff in Studio 10.
Oh, yes. And yet those hot takes.
The hot takes?
Those are tricky.
Yeah, sometimes I have to really come up. Some people may call me opinionated. I don't know if anyone in the newsroom would agree, but some people would say that possibly. So I should say it's not that hard to come up with opinions on things, because typically how I am anyways.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Colton Cichoracki, everyone joining us right now talking about this heat stretch that we have.
Yeah, it's very hot. The only thing that's helping us out are a few clouds today. A little bit of a breeze that's helping too, but it's still very warm. Let's show you the current temperatures because upper 80s. Look at Alma, the warm spot there in Gratiot County, 89 degrees. It's 87 in St. John's and Lansing, 88 in Mason. Again, it's just after 2 o'clock, so we'll likely be climbing a few more degrees today. That's why I put the high of 90. My goodness, 90 in Lansing today because it is going to be very hot. And you can see temperature for the next couple of hours. If you're going to be outside at all today, you want to make sure that you're staying hydrated, finding shade when you can. Don't be outside for too long. You know, I always like to go for walks, especially after work, but I might have to hold off until later this evening when temperatures begin to fall.
It's toasty.
It's toasty outside out there right now. Now, one thing we've been keeping an eye on, which I think our chance may have diminished a little, is the possibility of seeing a few pop-up showers this afternoon. You can see some happening to our west and even up in northern lower Michigan. Nothing happening here locally, though. So we talked about this on News 10 today at 11, the lake breeze, what the lake breeze is, how this contributes to...
You taught me some stuff.
Yeah, some showers and thunderstorms. It just hasn't happened yet, and I'm not all that optimistic it will. Unfortunately. So
we need that rain.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing, and we definitely do need the rain. And one thing you'll be wanting to tuning in tomorrow is that we will be getting a new drought monitor. So we get this thing. It shows where the drought is at all across the country. It comes out Thursday mornings. It's from the University of Nebraska, and we'll get a new one tomorrow. And I would suspect that because we've been so dry as of late, May is going to go down as the 5th driest May on record in the city of Lansing. And records go all the way back to 1863. So that's not a small thing to say. And I would suspect that we're going to be introduced into probably that lowest end drought, which is abnormally dry, probably tomorrow. Right now we're not in anything, but I would suspect... if not tomorrow, maybe next week, because we just don't have a lot of rain in the forecast. But outside right now, you can see some of those puffy cumulus clouds. So things are trying to bubble up. The problem is that there's just a lot of dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. There's also an area of high pressure. Those two things, just not going to be leading to a lot of shower and thunderstorm development today. So it was kind of a long shot anyways to see anything develop. We may still see something try to pop up before too long, but I'm not expecting a ton of this today. And this model here has been really backing off on that. When it comes to those spotty showers, maybe one or two that tries to develop later today, but that's about it.
I was going to say, you see those green little spots, little patches there, but yeah, completely, missing our area. Or
and tomorrow we might see it too, but the thing about it is, even if we do see it, yes, we'll take it, but it's really nothing, it's really just a drop in the bucket. We really could use some more. And then tomorrow we may see some develop closer to Lake Michigan with that lake breeze that we talked about, but tomorrow the lake breeze is not going to make it as far inland, so it's going to stay closer to the lake. So the further west that you are, really, you have to get really close to the water tomorrow that you may see some of this. So just unfortunate. We need the rain. I kind of feel bad saying that this is nice weather, because we have so many farmers, around here, a lot of people with gardens, so it's not nice for them, right? No. We need the rain. So that's always something to keep in mind when we're talking about, yes, it's nice to be outside. We're not seeing any rain, but we definitely could use the rain. So here's the chance. I left a 20% for now. I'd be surprised if we see much of anything today. Tomorrow, maybe a stray shower, but that's about it. Now, Saturday, there could be a stray shower there as well, but nothing major on Saturday. Nothing meaningful. No major systems coming our way anytime soon. And even if we were to extend this out into next week, nothing. There's just nothing. And, it's very atypical. We do go through a stretch like this normally in the middle of summer. You're thinking like July. We go through a stretch of really dry weather.
This is really early.
This is early. May is one of our wetter months typically, and obviously it was not this year. So starting off summer this dry, not always the best sign. So we'll have to see how this kind of translates into the rest of the month. Now, some of the things I've been seeing show that maybe during the middle part of June that our weather pattern can change a bit.
Okay.
And that could bring in some more opportunities of seeing some rainfall. Fingers crossed that we see that, because we need that, especially before we get into the real summer.
Yeah.
Once we get into late June and in July, that's when the heat really is there and the dry weather can come at us.
It's summer.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yesterday, actually, I was, opening up my door, stepping foot outside. Luckily, I was in shade, so I wasn't getting, beaten down by the sun. But I was looking out, and the sprinklers started going. I was like, Yep, if you are not getting that rainfall that you need for your grass or certain crops or your garden, you're going to need the hose out or the sprinklers to make sure all of those are staying hydrated.
Well, yeah, and even looking outside here, the grass is looking a little not so green. Not at our station, of course, but across the street. At the shopping complex, it looks a little brown out there with the grass. But I'm sure that's going to happen everywhere because just the lack of rain. It's nothing that no one's doing anything wrong. It's just a lack of rain. And one of the things that we'll be talking about, and sometimes when we get these high of temperatures, ozone in the atmosphere can get high. And that's actually what's going to happen tomorrow. So we have an ozone action day for Thursday. So all those counties in that gray color.
Unhealthy air quality?
Yeah, so unhealthy air quality.
Not
now,
good.
this is for sensitive groups. So this is like people that might have asthma.
Oh,
sometimes
that's me.
kids. Sometimes kids or maybe, older people could have some, issues tomorrow. It's not going to be a huge concern. But we do have this, and there are some things that we can all do to kind of limit the amount of ozone that builds tomorrow. This just happens when it gets super hot and hazy outside. So some things that we can do on ozone action days, that's why they call them this. These are action days because they want you to do something different.
Be mindful of it. Yeah, take the change.
So things to avoid tomorrow would be like getting gas in your car. Or if you do have to gas, don't fill up, right? All these things can help produce ozone.
So if people do need to fill up their gas, don't do it tomorrow. Do not. But today, would today be a good day?
Yeah, today is okay, but tomorrow is the action day itself. But even if you do have to get gas, because sometimes you're like, oh crap, I forgot to get gas, and so just put some in. Don't fill it all the way up to the to full. Other things like using gas-powered lawnmowers. Avoid mowing the lawn. Thankfully, we haven't seen much rain lately, so that's not a huge concern.
Don't really need it.
Yeah, and then also using charcoal lighter fluid. That's another thing there. So these are just some of the tips. You can find more information on this on the state's website.
Okay.
Eagle's website, I believe, actually. And you can find some more information about these ozone action days. We see them every now and then, a couple of times each summer, just when you get super hot and you get a lot of ozone in the air and the air quality is maybe not so good. So that's going to be happening tomorrow.
I'm going to say, May, we really switch out those showers for the 90 degrees. 90 this early in the fully start of summer.
And what I noticed was that last year, actually on May 31st, we got to 90 degrees in Lansing.
So maybe it is starting to become
so typically, I went back and looked. Typically, our first 90-degree day happens, I think it was June 23rd when I looked. The past couple of years, we've seen 90s in May. But typically it should happen sometime in June. So obviously this is a little bit beforehand. Tomorrow is the first day of June. And you can see we have 3 more chances of seeing 90 today, tomorrow, and Friday. Yesterday we did get to 90. Even this weekend we'll have to keep an eye on Saturday. Right now I've kind of split the middle between our models here and put 88 for the high. Could be warmer, maybe a little bit cooler. We could see a cold front come in on Saturday. And then next week overall does look a bit cooler, upper 70s and lower 80s, but still that's above average. So yeah, we're just really into this summer heat that's building in and not going anywhere.
Well, I was telling you, I think earlier today, I got in my car yesterday, and I think Justin put it maybe at like high 80s, like maybe just hitting 90. And I went into my car because cars heat up. We actually have a story warning people not to put children or pets in the car alone without AC. Because of this, it gets so much hotter in the car. My car said about 102 degrees. I was like, this is way too hot. And we were talking about the metal part on your car seat, the seat belt. There we go. That is danger.
Well, especially, I have leather seats in my car, and I have black leather seats. So that just attracts all the heat, and they get super hot. So that is definitely something to keep in mind. And one thing, too, when we're talking about the heat is cement sidewalks can get very hot. That's important for our pets.
Yes.
So one of the things that they teach you to do is to put your hand down on the cement.
I think it's the back of the hand because it's more sensitive. Back of the hand.
On the cement. If it's too hot for you, it is too hot for your pets. So definitely, when we're taking care of ourselves when it's hot outside, you want to make sure that you're taking care of your pets too, because it is hot for them too. And they have a lot of fur, some of our pets do. So making sure that they have hydrated, make sure they have access to shade and all that stuff, very important.
It's like walking across hot sand. You can't even fully walk across it. You're almost like tiptoeing across, like, ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, that was me over the weekend over in Grand Haven. The sand was hot, but the water was so cold that you just put your feet in, you're like, whoa, and your feet go numb, and it was terrible. Some people were swimming, and I couldn't imagine doing that.
No, it's either way too hot or way too cold. We need more of the summer to kind of balance
and it's
out those
it's nice
temperatures.
pool weather, I would say.
Lake weather is still cold because the lakes still need to warm up.
Right. So that, and it takes a long time because they're big bodies of water. So it takes most of summer for them to warm up. So they always say Labor Day is like the best holiday for the lakes because those are when the temperatures are warmest.
And then fall and winter come.
And then it's right over. Yep. And then we start the cycle all over again.
Yep.
But yeah.
Let's go. Okay, well, let's go back to this because what I was kind of laughing at earlier is you're like, next week there's the cooler temperatures. And I laugh at that because it's still low 80s, high 70s. But when you're looking at this temperature trend, it looks like it's a decently significant drop.
It is. Well, and it's...
well, you'll feel it too.
Yeah, you'll notice the difference. And one of the things about today, if you haven't been outside yet, or too much today, is that our humidity levels are a tad higher. That will be the case for the next couple of days. They're not crazy high. It's not going to be super humid outside, but you will notice a bit more humidity. And one of the things that we look at, this is kind of just a nerdy side of, what I look at every day, is it's the diurnal range when it comes to temperature. So the difference between the low temperature and the high temperature when you have really dry air. In place, so that dew point's really low, not a ton of moisture in the air. The temperature can rise quickly and fall quickly. So you see these big swings in temperature. And yesterday, I just so happened to notice that I believe the low in Lansing was 55, and the high was 90. So that's a 35-degree swing in high and low temperature, and that's a very large swing. This is typically what they see out in, think of like Arizona in the desert or something like that, that's really dry air. Sometimes the low temperatures out there can be like in the 40s and they'll warm way up into, the 90s or 100s. So very dry air, but that's going to probably be a little bit different. So you'll notice that our overnight lows kind of creep up a little over the next couple of nights here. So I don't know, it's just something interesting I noticed today.
That is cool. I like learning about all that stuff.
So dry air temperatures can move very quickly. When you get a little bit more moisture, you don't see the temperatures move so much. So if you can think of the opposite too in Florida, they don't drop too low, the temperature, because there's so much humidity in the air, but they also don't get super warm, right?
You still see people walking around in all their like coats and boots, and us people from Michigan are like, what are you doing?
Right, yeah.
That's true. Well, if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest weather updates and all that good stuff, Colton, where can they go?
The News 10 First Alert weather app, and and I was talking to my friends over the weekend. They thought that they couldn't use the app. This is no lie. This story came up, and I said because they were out of town, they couldn't use the app. And I said, no, that is not true, because the First Alert weather app will follow you where you go and give you the latest conditions. So you can always get the latest updates. And there's also radar and all these other tools in there that you can use. So even if you're not here locally, the app will still work. So it's very useful.
I was going to say, I used it this past weekend for Memorial Day. Was traveling around to Chicago and then back home. And it followed immediately. Yep. I didn't even have to do anything else. Just had to set my location and we were good.
Yeah, and it's free. The best thing at Google Play and the App Store.
Best things. We love that. All right. Well, for some things coming up today later in our newscast, first at 4, followed by our 90 minutes of news. Here we go, and here's what you can look forward to. So today, first at 4, for today's Mid-Michigan Matters interview segment, we have Buddy's Pals coming in. So a little bit about Buddy's Pals is it is a organization that has a team of about 50 dogs. So they each have a little owner, a trainer with them. And then the dogs go into many schools, at least a handful or two of schools in the greater Lansing area, and they sit down with kids, Colton, and they help them read. So dogs, obviously, well, maybe some dogs read. I don't want to put it past them. But, dogs don't necessarily read, but these students and children will sit down with these dogs, these different teams of dogs, and they will read to them. And the best part is the dogs help them feel more confident in their reading. I'm trying to describe it without giving it all away because you'll have to tune into First at 4 to see exactly how these dogs are helping. But, as students are closing out their school year in about a week and a half here, how do they continue that learning into the summer? Well, this is a great tool, and Buddy's Pals will show you how they not only help during the school year, but continue helping in the summer months as well. News 10 at 5, we introduce you to the Sycamore Stars and the Galaxy System, which is focusing on community service. News 10 at 5:30, our Fred Human is live at the Diamond Classic. And then News 10 at 6, a warm weather impacts on area businesses. So that will be interesting right there.
Yeah, and it's the first heat wave, so a lot of people are just getting ready. So I'm sure ACs and things like that need to be worked on. So yeah, it's great to do that story.
I was gonna say I can definitely feel the heat getting to me because I just.
It does feel a little warm. Yeah.
It does feel warm. We have these jackets on. It's a little toasty.
I know. I wish we could wear T-shirts on air. Wouldn't that be nice?
Everyone would be like, "What are you doing?" That would be funny. Maybe one of these days we'll surprise all of you. You'll have to let us know in the comments if a T-shirt show is the way to go. Mm-hmm. Newscast, my apologies. Anyway, coming up in our later newscast, we also have our reporters live out in the field. They're going to tell you what you can expect today.
Thanks, Taylor. Today I talked to some heating and cooling companies. They're experiencing a huge increase in their business, especially as we approach this warmer weather. I'll have more on that coming up at 5. Over to you, Aaron.
Thanks, Justin. I'm Erin Bowling, and today I'm talking about a 1-year suspension for commercial solar and wind energy projects. The Clinton County Board of Commissioners voted on the move yesterday and are now in the process of setting up a subcommittee. I'm speaking with their county administrator later today about what this means for the future of renewable energy in Clinton County. All of that story for you on News 10 at 5:30. Deanna, what are you working on today?
Thank you, Aaron. There's no surprise that there's a shortage of teachers. That's why Lansing School District just received a $1 million grant to help bring in more teachers into the classroom. While that doesn't include retired teachers, they're definitely a part of that shortage conversation. I'm Deanna Giles, and I'll have that story coming up on News 10 at 6. Now on to Amaya.
Thanks, Deanna. The Department of Natural Resources says there's an extreme fire risk throughout the state of Michigan. Today I'm talking to local fire stations to see how they're keeping an eye on the weather. I'll have more on that story later tonight starting at 6 o'clock. Taylor, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Justin, Aaron, Deanna, and Amaya. We can't wait to see what you have or see how these stories play out in our later newscast. Until then, sunglasses.
Sunglasses, water, sunscreen, need it all day.
Stay inside if you can, maybe. Just step outside every once in a while. All right. Well, until then, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.